Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the proud privilege in inviting our Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency Shri Bandaru Dattatraya, Honorable Governor of Haryana, to kindly grace the stage with his presence. And let's put our hands together to welcome His Excellency. Okay, we can begin by lighting the ceremonial lamp and inaugurating the India Space Congress. For the lamp lighting, along with His Excellency, I would like to invite our special guests of honor, Shri S. Somanath ji, Secretary DOS and Chairman ISRO. I would invite Ms. Gunjan, Member Technology DCC DOT, Mr. Alex MacDonald, Chief Economist, NASA. I invite Mr. Nathan de Ruiter, Managing Director, Euroconsult, Mr. Anil Prakash, DG SIA-India. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the ceremonial inauguration of India Space Congress 2023, done by Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency, Honorable Governor of
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समाप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समाप्रभा.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as a mark of respect for our great nation, may I request everybody to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you. Kindly take your seats. Before we proceed, may I once again request for all mobile phones to be kept on to silent mode. Thank you. The exit doors to be closed, please. Namaskar and good morning. Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency Shri Bandaru Dattatraya, Honorable Governor of Haryana, our special guests of honor, Shri S. Somanath ji, Secretary DOS and Chairman ISRO, Ms. Gunjan, Member Technology DCC DOT, eminent dignitaries on the day, special invitees, senior government officials, distinguished panelists, eminent speakers, and participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the inaugural session of the India Space Congress 2023 on the theme of reimagining space sector for empowering socio-economic development, which is being organized by the SETCOM Industry Association SIA-India, supported by India Space Research Organization ISRO, Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center, Department of Telecommunications, Ministry of Communications, Government of India, Department of Defense Production, Ministry of Defense, Government of India, Niti Aayog, National Institute of Advanced Studies, NIAS, Research and Information System for Developing Countries, RIS, India Post, and New Space India Limited, NSIL. Ladies and gentlemen, SIA-India is a not-for-profit body created to represent the interest of the satellite communication ecosystem in India. As a vibrant body, SIA-India represents satellite operators, satellite systems, launch vehicles, ground and terminal equipment manufacturers, and application solutions provider to the government, regulators, policymakers, and domestic and international standards bodies. As the thought leader for the satellite communications ecosystem, we aim to present the industry's interest to the highest government levels for policymaking, regulatory, and licensing matters. SIA-India is excited to observe the industry developments as the space segment matures from limited Earth observations and communication applications to the multiple constellations that need to be supported with necessary ground infrastructure, including multiple gateways, data centers, and communications link. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference today is supported by our country partner, Government of Canada, banking knowledge partner, HSBC, strategic partner, Invest India, and state partners, Government of Arunachal Pradesh. Hosted for the second time by SIA-India, India Space Congress is a global congregation of industry, experts, government, policymakers, thought leaders, legal professionals, and academia in the space sector. The conference will be a multi-stream program exploring the use of satellite technology to improve socio-economic development in India. India Space Congress, ISC 2023, will focus on space science technologies and applications for support of sustainable economic, social, and environmental development. The conference will also examine the development of science, technology, and innovation policies related to space and its access to all. The main objective of the conference is to bring together policymakers, researchers, and academics to integrate space into policy and decision-making, raise awareness about the activities of various entities involved in space, including international and national agencies, industry, and the civil society, and highlight the capacity-building efforts and international cooperation and partnerships involving emerging nations and industries. And ladies and gentlemen, the august presence of eminent dignitaries today is a source for inspiration for all of us. May I now request Dr. Subba Pavuluri, President SIA-India, to kindly do the honors of welcoming our eminent guests with a floral bouquet and a shawl. We welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency Shri Bandaru, Dattatraya, Honorable Governor of Haryana. Ladies and gentlemen, let's once again put our hands together to welcome His Excellency to India Space Congress 2023. A very warm welcome to you, Your Excellency. Thank you, sir. We now welcome our special guests of honor, Shri S. Somanath, Secretary DOS and Chairman ISRO. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We welcome Ms. Gunjan, Member Technology, DCC DOT. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We welcome Mr. Alex MacDonald, Chief Economist, NASA. A very warm welcome to you, sir. And we welcome Mr. Nathan de Ruiter, Managing Director, Euroconsult. Warm welcome to you, sir. And we thank Dr. Subba for kindly doing the honors of welcoming and honoring all our eminent guests for the inaugural session on the dais. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the privilege in inviting Dr. Subba Pavuluri to begin the proceedings of the Congress with his welcome address. Dr. Subba Pavuluri is the President of SIA-India, is CMD of Ananth Technologies Limited. He founded Ananth Technologies in 1993, which is the first private industry to set up assembly, integration and testing facilities for satellite and launch vehicles in India. Dr. Rao is a technologist and an entrepreneur with extensive experience in Indian space program, ISRO, for over 4 decades. And let's put our hands together to welcome sir.
Namaskar and good morning. His Excellency Shri Bandaru Dattatraya Garu, the Governor of Haryana, Shri Somanath ji, Secretary DOS, and Chairman ISRO, Mrs. Gunjan Devji, Member Technology DCC DOT, and Ms. Alex MacDonald, Chief Economist NASA, Mr. Nathan de Ruiter, Managing Director Euroconsult, Shri Anil, Prakash, ladies and gentlemen and friends from the media. Today, as we gather at the India Space Congress 2023, I stand before you with a deep sense of honor and gratitude. This esteemed congregation of scientists, technologists, industry leaders, policy makers, defense experts, diplomats, policy makers, and very many visionaries. And gathering of such a gathering is a testimony to our nation's unwavering spirit of innovation and exploration, particularly in the space sector. Together, we embarked on a remarkable journey in the field of space and satellite-related activities. The SATCOM Industry Association of India proudly presents the second edition of the India Space Congress 2023. We had one in 2022, which was very successful. And the present theme is reimagining the space for socio-economic development. As you know, that space is just not a technology, but from the very beginning, since Vikram Sarabhai days, we wanted the entire space technology to be used for the socio-economic development of the country. This transformation event brings together distinguished luminaries from government, industry, and academia to share their profound insights and expertise. The India Space Congress 2023 marks the dawning of the new era in space exploration, policy formulation, technological advancements, space diplomacy, and international collaboration. It is a testament to our shared commitment to drive collaboration and foster socio-economic development. As India signs the Artemis Accord, the world eagerly anticipates the intensified collaboration and sustainable space exploration. I am very happy to witness the overwhelming support for ISC 2023 with the esteemed government departments, ministries, associations, and institutions endorsing this event. It reaffirms our collective vision and dedication to advancing the frontiers of space technology for the betterment of society. This Space Congress will witness the convergence of all key stakeholders in an impressive environment where a knowledge exchange, breakthrough collaborations, and groundbreaking advancements take center stage. With 170 eminent speakers in 50+ sessions encompassing multiple tracks and themes over 3 days, ISC 2023 provides an unparalleled platform for meaningful discussions on the exploration of innovative solutions. Today, we are honored to be in the presence of a distinguished lineup of VIP speakers. Their expertise and their insight will undoubtedly enrich the conference and inspire the attendees. I extend my deepest gratitude to His Excellency Shri Bandaru Dattatraya, Govt of Haryana, who will deliver his inaugural address as our esteemed chief guest. We are equally honored to have Shri S. Somanath, Secretary DOS and Chairman ISRO as a special guest of honor delivering a special address. Our gratitude extends to Mr. Alex MacDonald, Chief Economist of NASA, and Mrs. Gunjan, Member DCC DOT for their insightful special addresses. We are also privileged to have Mr. Nathan de Ruiter, Managing Director of Euroconsult, enlightening us with his keynote address on the top drivers and speed breakers for space economy. We are privileged to have Euroconsult as a knowledge partner. Thank you, sir. I am especially thankful to Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director NIAS, former Secretary MoES, Govt of India, who has chaired the organizing committee. Unfortunately, he could not be present here due to his ill health. We are also thankful to Dr. V.S. Hegde and Mr. Sudhir Kumar, who also rendered constant support to us in organizing this event. As we delve into the discussions, let us reflect on the profound impact satellite technology has made in crucial areas such as agriculture in the country, more specifically the state like Haryana, and which is facing many challenges like food security, optimizing agricultural practices, and satellite imagery has been extensively used by Haryana government for their development activities. And in fact, their remote sensing data utilization for the crop planning, resource allocation, disease detection, precision agriculture techniques, etc., that has become the way of life in Haryana has become very, very impressive with the satellite technology in this area. And we also expect a lot of other solutions coming up in Haryana state. Not only what is being done in Haryana, mostly applicable to many states in the country in terms of water management and disaster like floods, etc., management, etc. That type of things are happening very well in these various states' governments. And that's why the entire socio-economic benefits of the satellite data has to reach many of these people towards this. And we also look forward to Dr. Somanath, Chairman ISRO, and his leadership. Nation is going to witness proud moment for launch of Chandrayaan-3 on 14 July. That is a few days away from now. All of us wish well for the success of Chandrayaan program. Thank you all, and may the India Space Congress 2023 be a milestone in the new space economy. Welcome you all again, and thank you, and dhanyavad, and namaskar. Thank you all, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for those warm words of welcome and for setting the context of India Space Congress 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, our eminent keynote speaker, Mr. Nathan de Ruiter, is Managing Director, Euroconsult. Various sources of information are collected by Euroconsult on the government space programs and budgets from government agencies, primary information, public sources, and estimates. This information is harmonized and processed to form a coherent set of data. And I now have the proud privilege in inviting Mr. Nathan for the keynote address on the topic of top drivers and speed breakers of space economy. So let's put our hands together to welcome our keynote speaker.
Good morning. Give me a moment to start up my presentation. I'm definitely happy to be back here in Delhi for the second edition of the Indian Space Congress. Last year it was a great success, and that sets expectations for this year. So honored to be on this opening panel with this distinguished guest. The first little bug is that the computer is not working, so maybe someone can help. No, there it is. There is a pin though that I don't know, so if someone can share the pin. But anyway, I would say, there we go.
This one?
Yeah, this one, yeah. Yeah. All right, no, I don't need that. Thank you. All right, good. So we're right there. So today my keynote address will talk about kind of the driving forces of the space industry and what we kind of expect to be the supersizing of the space economy. So a lot of expectations here. Before I go there, maybe a quick word about Euroconsult for people less familiar with the company. So we're a consultancy firm really focused and dedicated on the space sector and the satellite-enabled verticals. We've been in business for over 40 years, and we operate across 4 major business lines, including strategy consulting, technology consulting, market intelligence, executive training, and events. So we're very pleased as well to be the knowledge partner for the Indian Space Congress. And I'm happy to talk with anyone later in the week throughout our services. But let me go to the topic. And let me start with the space economy. And it's always, I think, important to see, okay, where do we stand today? Where are we coming from? And if you kind of look back, we're really coming strongly out of the COVID era with the space economy now in 2021 around $424 billion globally. And we're real on track on growing what we project to be about $740 billion by 2031, clearly outpacing the kind of the general growth, economic growth projections. But there's a bit more about it. Let's kind of unpack it a little bit what the global space economy is. So clearly, I think what you kind of need to distinguish are 2 areas. So we have the core space industry, which has a lot of focus, which is the enabler. So it's about building, launching, operating satellites. But again, also very important to highlight that the value, why are we doing this, is building and creating value on the downstream, on the services level. And if you look at the market and breaking those 2 elements, breaking them up, then you could see definitely that the value is getting created in the downstream, in enable applications, which we project to grow from 350 billion today to 637 billion by 2031. So that's one important point. Second point, so what are kind of the 4 major drivers for fueling this space economy growth? So clearly first is the technology and business innovations, and when you look back over the last 10 years, we see a dramatic decrease in the cost of manufacturing satellites, of launching satellites. There's a greater adoption of AI, software, standardization, a lot of changes in how we kind of work and how we deliver and how we provide solutions to the market. And that has really trickled down into a different way the market also is adopting satellite services in particular. The cost reduction has opened up new applications. We see as well the new business model helping to scale up a number of the market applications, and I have the second part of my presentation focusing a little bit more into how that's going to look like and where the biggest growth opportunities are. Government, still an important pillar today and will be in the future, and we see globally that space becoming much more a strategic important area. We see that in new policy developments, kind of helping to spur especially the commercial space sector, and India also definitely a very welcomed implementation of the new space policy earlier this year. I think it was long awaited, but it's important to help and augment and grow the local space economy here in India. Then the 4th pillar is investments. We can kind of see that something what we call the rocket propulsion of our industry. We need a lot of it and we burn it very fast. So let me give you one more little deep dive into the private investment trends. This is pretty significant growth. Over the last 5 years, we estimate about $37 billion being raised by around 450 space companies. You see here on the slide a clear peak, 17 billion in 2021, which was really driven by this flurries of SPAC. A specific kind of wave vehicle in the US that raised a lot of money. Numbers are down a bit, but it's also, I think, in line where the market is today. Capital market is tightening. And there's also a positive trend of that there's more focus on the kind of the quality of the business model, the business plan, so a stronger focus on the industry fundamentals. Then looking at where is the money coming from? So historically, US obviously has been a major driver of investment, But over the last 6 to 9 months, we've seen it diversifying quite a bit. So Europe is stepping up. We see Asia stepping up. India, I think, is still an area where it could be good to discuss a little bit today in the coming days as well, where to invest, and if we see private investment also coming to the market. So then I want to talk a little bit more about what are the major kind of drivers, the market opportunities for fueling this kind of opportunity in the space economy. And we call that, and it has a nice ring to it, the Super 7 space opportunities. And I will go through each of them and briefly explain where the opportunity is and what it's about. So the first one is satellite broadband connectivity. And this is widely conceived as one of the biggest opportunities for the space sector. And you kind of can break it down into two different opportunities. So on the one hand, you have what we call the mobile broadband, and there you think about the planes, vessels that, there's a natural play for satellite as they cannot be reached within terrestrial networks of most of the time. And penetration is still low. We estimate around 50% of the potential vessels and airplanes that are still currently beyond the reach of terrestrial networks. So still a lot of growth in that segment, and satellite has a natural play. The bigger and even more interesting opportunity is what we call the universal broadband access. 2.6 billion people unconnected today. According to the statistics, 15% are right here in India. So there's a big opportunity. And there are a lot of challenges, right? This is definitely not a big, easy market to penetrate, but with the cost coming down, we do see kind of a significant opportunity for satellite to grow its adoption and penetration in that market segment. So as we calculated today, and we use some affordability measures, there's about a $60 billion opportunity currently untapped. So you can imagine that a lot of companies are focused on this particular opportunity and help to unlock that market potential. Second one, Earth observation, is also an interesting one. It's still relatively small in overall value today. It's about $4.5 billion, but we see a significant transformation. So we see, for example, new constellations offering a much wider variety of data on a kind of high-visit, low-cost basis. And that really should open up and use for the more widespread use of data, imagery, and not only for defense, but also for other kind of market segments like agriculture, ESG, location-based services. So the next challenge is really how can we use all that new data and build kind of real products and services and analytics from that. So the real focus is now shifted to developing AI, APIs, to really build customized solutions to open up those new market applications. So again, really an interesting market area where as well here in India, there are quite a number of startups focused on this, and there's quite a lot of demand as well that can be developed here in the country. Defense and security, number 3, which is an historic kind of a key market for our space sector. And we see continuous structural growth in the defense sector. We see that in all kind of different key performance indicators. There's more countries investing in defense assets, more spending in defense. There's also more satellites being launched, military satellites being launched. And one of the things I think is pretty interesting statistic, 44 countries will have their independent defense space capabilities by 2025. And again, I think the other important point is to see is that, well, basically the other focus of most of the countries also is not only to build their own assets, but also more and more to use commercial space sector capabilities. This is kind of a worldwide trend where it's not only building their own assets, but also using the services from the private sector, which offers kind of growth, but also definitely opportunities for companies in the market today. Number 4 is kind of a new, well, it's an existing satellite IoT has been here, but there's a lot of new developments here as well, and I personally see this as well as the potentially largest upside markets, especially on the direct-to-cell phone segment, which is pretty new development. Most recently, Apple started to offer its emergency service over satellite on its iPhone 14. And first of all, there's a very it's a pretty big accomplishment. It's not an easy feat, but it also is, from a business kind of industry perspective, a major disruption. Because think about it, that a big tech company like Apple is using and investing in satellite. That really shows us this convergence from big tech companies with satellite services, and we really need that to kind of help and grow our space economy. So again, this is a market that probably is small here, and even our projections here doesn't really fully include, I think, the value and the opportunity of direct to cell. Number 5, I already mentioned earlier in my start of my presentation that the reduction of the cost of building and launching satellites is a kind of a key driver of this growth in the space economy. And that's also definitely reflected here. And basically today, every company, university, country can build and launch their satellite. The cost has been so much reduced that it's an opportunity for everybody. And that's reflected in our numbers. If you see here, we project about over 18,000 satellites to be launched by between 2021 and 2031. And I think as well for India, obviously there's deep heritage and clear capabilities in launching satellites. So there's a real opportunity here to grow basically the market share for India in a kind of global perspective, especially as the launch market in some parts are pretty constrained at the current moment. Well, yeah, there's much more satellites being launched, which is, a very attractive and positive development, but it also creates some concerns because on the other side, there's still quite a significant amount of debris sharing their orbit with these satellites. So that's one of the focuses of what we call the number 6, the space sustainability trend, and most specifically the space situational awareness. So think about it, we have maybe about 4,000 or 5,000 satellites a day, many more coming. On top of that, there are about 25,000 debris with objects with about 10 centimeters of larger, and then even millions of smaller debris with below 1 centimeter. So all sharing their orbit with the satellite, and especially in lower Earth orbit, that can get a potential serious risk for potential collisions. So that's why as well we see quite more focus from different type of companies to address that and building what we call space situational awareness services for tracking and monitoring these objects in space. We expect that market to generate about $1.8 billion over the next decade. And really one of an opportunity, I think, even in India, there are a number of companies that are very much focused and getting pretty successful on that. Clearly area of growth. But this space situational awareness is not, let's say, the only initiative within the larger space sustainability trend. It's actually quite a much larger focus. You can think about climate change detection, greenhouse monitoring, but also what we call sustainable space. So think about greener launch propulsion options. So again, the space sustainability is definitely in many different ways and focus area, and also where much more spending is going to be in the next decade. Last and not least, space exploration. So overall, I would say the space agencies globally have kind of recognized the importance to establish a sustainable lunar presence as a pathway to Mars. And this is reflected in the government spending. So we project around spending to increase to nearly 31 billion by 2031, which is a 22% increase from what it is today. And I think here as well, India definitely has definitely an important role to play. Very happy to see that India signed the Artemis Accords, which I think will help them as well for this next phase of international cooperation, which is obviously very important when we deal with space exploration. Also, we'll also look forward to the next lunar orbiter mission, Chandrayaan-3, which I think, of course, will hopefully be launched later this week, which I think would again be kind of a testament for the capabilities Indian space sector has, and obviously, we'll definitely see that be a success, which I think, will be a important milestone for everybody working towards space exploration. So let me recap from what we kind of wanted to highlight today. So first of all, as I kind of pointed out, the kind of true value of the space sector is delivered from the downstream, so the value creation on the services level. But the upstream, the core space sector industry is very important because it's the enabler. We cannot build those services if we don't have the space assets in orbit. I highlighted 7, what we call the Super 7 market opportunities for space. And, I think the next few days, I think the topic of the discussion would be, okay, how India can participate or grow their own space economy by monetizing and working through those Super 7 opportunities themselves. I think international companies, they clearly see the interest in partnering as they see India, the Indian market, as one of the largest untapped markets. But I would also encourage Indian companies to look and expand their horizon internationally. I think there's a lot of opportunities for startups, for established companies to kind of expand internationally, looking there for the opportunities to grow their business and hopefully make some a real mark on the international and global arena. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you. Looking forward to meet many of you in the course of the week. If you like my slides, feel free to come to me and I'm happy to share that with you, or you can send me an email that is listed here. But thanks again for your attention, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for the keynote presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, is America's civil space program and the global leader in the space exploration. The agency has a diverse workforce of just under 18,000 civil servants and works with many more US contractors, academia, and international and commercial partners to explore, discover, and expand knowledge for the benefit of humanity. Our guest of honor, Mr. Alexander MacDonald, is the chief economist at NASA. He was previously the senior economic advisor in the office of the administrator and was founding program executive of NASA's Emerging Space Office within the office of the chief technologist. He is the author of editor of a number of NASA's reports, including Emerging Space, the Evolving Landscape of 21st Century American Spaceflight, Public-Private Partnerships for Space Capability Development, and Economic Development of Low Earth Orbit. He's also a former executive staff and specialist on the commercial space at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a former research faculty member of Carnegie Mellon University, and has worked for the University Space Research Association while at NASA's MS Research Center, where he worked on small satellite mission designs and served as the center's first research economist. And ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite him for the special address. Let's put our hands together to welcome him.
Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction. It is with great honor and pleasure that I have been asked to address the Second Indian Space Congress. We stand here today at a historic time in the development of our global space capabilities, as we just heard, and in particular in the development of Indian space capabilities, and in the development of US and India space cooperation. Space exploration is undergoing something of a renaissance around the world. New players, new companies, new missions, new constellations, new human spacecraft, new space stations, new human voyages to the moon, and new partnerships. Last month, during the visit of Prime Minister Modi to the United States, India signed the Artemis Accords, underscoring a commitment to sustainable and responsible exploration and use of the moon, joining 26 other countries that have made the same pledge. Perhaps more importantly, however, President Biden made a public commitment that an Indian astronaut would visit the International Space Station next year in 2024. This will be a historic first. There is also, of course, a new space policy here in India, which will support an already world-class space agency in ISRO, an already incredibly experienced and skilled industrial base that has been developing advanced space products for decades, and an already vibrant and growing Indian space startup sector. We stand at an incredibly exciting time here in India for space activities and around the world. I'm particularly excited about this moment, as I have also just come from the G20 Space Economy Leaders meeting in Bandaru, hosted by ISRO and Chairman Somanath. We had the pleasure of exchanging some thoughts on the opportunities and challenges before us, and members of G20 agencies from all the nations that attended discussed topics related to our emerging and integrating global space economy. We discussed topics such as space sustainability. Given the rapid rise in satellite communication constellations and the increasing number of different actors engaged in low Earth orbit, we are at a critical juncture for dialogue related to ensuring a sustainable low Earth orbit environment so that the socioeconomic benefits of space activities can continue for all of us, as well as to ensure the safety of our astronauts and humans in orbit generally. We must learn from challenges with sustainability on Earth and work to ensure that we preserve the space environment so that we can continue to utilize it and benefit from it for decades and even centuries to come. We also discussed topics such as the role of Earth science satellites in understanding our changing climate, a topic of some relevance for those of us who have been part of the rains here in Delhi the last couple of days. The unique perspective provided by Earth orbiting satellites has become vital in helping the world understand the potential economic and human scope of climate change impacts. Providing scientific Earth science data openly and publicly is critical and provides for significant economic and societal benefits across many areas, including agriculture, natural resource management, and disaster response. As part of the global effort to understand and respond to our changing climate, space systems have an important role to play, and greater international coordination can be built on open data principles. While in Bangalore, I had the opportunity to visit one of the best examples of this in the world, the NISAR satellite. NISAR stands for the NASA-ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar Satellite. This is our flagship cooperative Earth science mission together. This highly complex mission is the first of its kind to map Earth using two different radar frequencies, L-band and S-band, and it will be able to measure changes on our planet's surface, including movements as small as centimeter scale movements. It is the most advanced radar system ever launched as part of a NASA science mission, and it is a true hand-in-hand equal partnership between NASA and ISRO, with NASA providing the L-band radar system and ISRO providing the S-band radar system, and with scientists from JPL and URSC working hand-in-hand daily, and with 20-plus JPLers working on-site at ISRO right now. Our two countries have committed to make this data free and accessible to the world, and when the mission is launched in early 2024 from Sriharikota, not only will it represent the first of NASA's next generation of Earth Systems Observatory, it will also represent the culmination of 10 years of work between NASA and ISRO, and will inaugurate the opening of a new era of space cooperation between the US and Indian space, which will only grow through 2024. At the G20, we also discussed lunar exploration and cooperation. The world is returning to the moon, this time to stay. And this time with commercial and economic ambitions in addition to science and exploration motivations. This makes international cooperation and coordination more important than ever to ensure a stable and peaceful environment on and around the moon in order to allow these activities to flourish. The G20 countries are leading lunar actors, with many, including now India, having signed the Artemis Accords, re-emphasizing our mutual commitment to upholding the principles of the UN Outer Space Treaty as we advance our lunar explorations. Through the Artemis campaign, NASA will lead the largest and most diverse global human space exploration coalition in history to the moon, and eventually onto Mars, all of which will contribute positively to worldwide economic benefits through the advancement of our collective space capabilities. The farther we go into space, the greater the economic benefits that we will all enjoy here on Earth. And I very much look forward to seeing what lunar cooperation between the US and India is possible in the years to come. India and the United States have, in short, embarked together not just on a partnership, but on a journey together. And it is not just any journey, but a journey into the cosmos, if you will, a Gaganyatra. It is a Gaganyatra that stands to enrich all of us. Personally, there are very few space journeys that I am more excited about than the journey that the US and India will make together in space. This is my 5th visit to India, and I've had the privilege not just of traveling around India, but also of seeing so many of the incredible space sites and space history that India has to offer, and from which we all can learn so much. My own journey has taken me to the ISRO ISITE facilities and the HAL facilities in Bandaru, to the beautiful Uti radio telescope in the Western Ghats and the giant meter wave radio telescope outside of Pune, and to the ancient Lonar meteor crater in Maharashtra, and to the ancient University of Nalanda, where Aryabhatta taught the heliocentric model of the universe over 1,000 years ago. I feel like in India you can go on a Gaganyatra without ever leaving the Earth. For me, what is so powerful about the new partnership between the US and India is the potential not just for economic collaboration, although that has incredible potential to grow. It is also the potential for social and personal engagement around space between Indians and Americans that in the long run, I think, may turn out to be even more important and more valuable. So I would suggest to you that it is not just a single ISRO astronaut or more that will be going on a Gaganyatra. In this new era of US-India cooperation, we all have the possibility to go on our own Gaganyatra together. In that spirit, I hope that you will all consider coming to the US, perhaps to participate in some of our space conferences, like the National Space Symposium, or to visit US space companies and to seek out new partnerships, or to see NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, or to see NASA's new Earth Information Center in Washington, D.C. There is so much for us to learn from each other, so many new experiences that we can share together, so many incredible missions that we can go on together, so many new spacecraft that we can build together. The United States Embassy here in Delhi is here to help with these types of scientific and economic engagements around space. And today, John Speaks and Nupur Singh and William Harford are here from the Delhi Embassy. And I encourage you all to connect with them and tell them about your space activities and to discuss potential US collaborations with them. So I suppose my question to you now all is, are you ready to go on a Gaganyatra together? Okay, maybe a little bit. Are you ready to travel to the ISS together? Are you ready to go to the moon together? Are you ready to go to the stars together? Okay, it sounds like you are. With the recent new commitments between the US and India in space, we stand at the beginning of a great new Gaganyatra in the history of the world. I look forward to traveling with you all together to low Earth orbit and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that insightful address. Of course, we all look forward to going to the moon and the stars. Almost sounded like a fairy tale, more than discussing space. Thank you very much indeed once again. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest of honor, Ms. Gunjan, is member Digital Communications Commission, Department of Telecommunications. The Digital Communications Commission is responsible for formulating the policy of Department of Telecommunications for approval of the government, preparing the budget for the Department of Telecommunications for each financial year and getting it approved by the government, and implementation of government's policy in all matters concerning the telecommunications. And I now have the proud privilege in inviting our special guest of honor, Ms. Gunjan, for her address. Let's put our hands together to welcome ma'am.
Honorable Governor of Haryana, Shri Bandaru, Dattatraya ji, Shri Somanath, Secretary DOS and Chairman ISRO, and all the respected dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, namaste and a warm welcome. I am thankful to the organizers of India Space Congress for inviting me to this August gathering. Friends, we are in a very exciting phase, and a lot of technological innovations are going on throughout the world. And Department of Telecommunication and Communication sector, we have introduced a lot of reforms for the growth and providing the services. Even though in India today we have more than 1 billion telecom subscribers, but still there are some areas where the connectivity is a bit of challenge, especially broadband connectivity. And this is basically due to the difficult terrains that our country has. And in this, the Government of India has the mission of connectivity for all and also digital inclusion. It is the endeavor of government to draw all the parts of the population into for their economic and socio-economic growth and intellectual growth, that we should have the proper connectivity, broadband connectivity to all parts of the country. And here this SATCOM technology is going to be a big help. As already pointed out by the earlier speaker, that it is one of the mobile SATCOM fixed or SATCOM mobile wireless or broadband connectivity is the one of the super use cases of satellite communication. Another thing that now India Space Policy 2023 has been announced by DOS, and it's a way forward. It has opened up the industry to a great extent. And here in DOT also, we have been taking proactive steps for ease of doing business. And satellite reforms introduced in 2022 year-end aim to promote the growth of satellite-based services and make them more accessible and affordable for the citizens. Some vital steps have been taken by DOTR. NOCC charges of rupees 21 lakh per transponder per annum for the use of space segment have been done away with, not only for TSPs but also for satellite TV broadcasters. Similarly, for captive VSAT licensees, the license fee of rupees 10,000 per terminal per year for IoT devices has also been exempted. And this is resulting in proliferation of M2M and IoT devices in various captive use cases, which was another super use of the SATCOM technologies just mentioned earlier. So here also this is helping for the logistic efficiency, and in railways this technology has been implemented, and of course in many other places. Till now the satellite usage has mostly been limited to static use due to the size, cost and complexity. But now with technological advancements like electronically steerable antenna, it is hoped that this will dramatically change the way satellite technology is used. New technologies are expected to be cost-effective communication solutions to support mobile broadband internet access in places which has not been possible till now. After enhancing scope of VSAT licenses and making enabling provisions in relevant TCIR, DOT has given in-principle clearance to about a dozen user terminal stations on moving platforms to be offered by VSAT operators. And these terminals are vehicle mounted or simply briefcase size portable pause and move types. Another important aspect is spectrum management, where a lot of reforms have been introduced. Instead of multiple level scrutiny by WPC in frequencies assignment, the process of single scrutiny has been implemented. SECFA clearance also has been simplified, and it's based on now self-declaration, or it is automated and time-bound through the web portal. Similarly, all unified and captive licenses are processed online through Saral Sanchar portals. So these are some of the reforms, and DOT is already in the process of introducing more such reforms. SATCOM applications are growing in leaps and bounds with rapid advancement in technology. And the demand for satellite bandwidth is also growing to meet the communication needs for socio-economic development, improving access to remote regions, national security, enterprise and consumer services. Advancements in technologies in ground and space segments, and especially in HTS and LEO-MEO, are able to provide solutions to larger number of applications for low latency, higher bandwidth and enhanced speeds. DOT has granted GMPCS license to two such constellations, OneWeb and GeoSES. Similarly, some more works are in progress, like DOT took an initiative for enabling framework for establishment of satellite gateways, and recommendations from TRI has already been obtained, and shortly we'll be putting up in place a new licensing regime for enabling satellite providers and enabling entities to set up satellite gateways, and also sharing of the gateways amongst licensees for reducing CapEx and OpEx. In the end, I would just compliment the organizers for this, for the success of this conclave, and also convey my best wishes. Greater participation by different industry members will definitely pave a way forward for success of satellite industry in India, and also for the indigenization of the technologies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time and gracing this occasion, and for the insightful special address. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, is the space agency of India. The organization is involved in science, engineering and technology to harvest the benefits of outer space for India and the mankind. ISRO is the major constituent of the Department of Space, Government of India. The department executes the Indian space program primarily through various centers or units within ISRO. And we also have a great news to share that Chandrayaan-3 is scheduled to be launched on 14th of July, just 3 days from now. And we are indeed grateful to Dr. Somanath for his esteemed presence here today, despite his busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, this launch is definitely going to make India proud. And may I request everyone to kindly give a standing ovation to Dr. Somanath and ISRO. Before I invite Dr. Somanath for his special address, we present before you a short video on the launch of Chandrayaan. Thank you very much indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, I now have the proud privilege in inviting our special guest of honor, Dr. Somanath S., Chairman Space Commission, Secretary DOS, and Chairman ISRO to kindly present the special address. Let's once again put our hands together to welcome sir.
Good morning, all of you. Honorable Governor of Haryana, Bandaru, Dattatraya ji, all distinguished panelists on the dais, invited guests, and participants of this India Space Congress 2023, with a specific focus on satellite communication and the socio-economic development of this nation. You just heard a talk by the Euroconsult on the possibilities that are there in India. And I am particularly very proud of the fact that I come from ISRO, who today stand in the list of those flags that he showed on the spacefaring nations. We have somewhere to be placed in those list of nations that have a potential to expand further. When we started the space program way back, 60 years back, the theme was still the same, the socio-economic development of this nation. We were not talking technology at that time. We were talking how we can do technology to deliver solutions for the problem of the society. And this still continues to be the primary theme of our work and our research. In fact, we were not that good in converting the whole of these possibilities into a business opportunity. I think that was one issue with us. We were continuing to develop the capability in India in terms of the launch vehicles, building, creating the indigenous launch capability, spacecraft building to support the flagship program of the government, and also do scientific missions at extremely low cost. We call it the frugal engineering, has been the hallmark of our work. And if you really look at the type of money that we have spent in space program, you really get amazed on the budget allocation for us to do all this, do the research, and also build and operate launches, and even continue to operate the facilities. The budget is extremely one of the lowest ever in the world. But then we realized that there is an emerging desire in the community of engineers, scientists, entrepreneurs in this country to do more. I think this is a great occasion that the government realized, our Honorable Prime Minister realized, that we must do something different. I think this is a very important moment for us to make the transition from what we have been doing so far, without changing the primary motive of serving the good, public good. So there has been new announcements now, especially called the space sector reform, then the space policy, and creating new institutions. Creating a new institution called InSpace, which is a regulator and a promoter. I think you would have never heard of such a terminology. Somebody who is a regulator who will also be a promoter. So its regulation is not for stopping anybody from doing anything. It is actually for creating new opportunities. This is a message that comes out of the creation of InSpace. And we also said that the regulator and the promoter will bank on the capability of ISRO to create that change. I think this is again a very new way of doing it. And we have seen the result now in terms of the enthusiasm that is there in the country in terms of the space sector. Not for the work of ISRO alone, but for the work of young entrepreneurs who are willing to take new paths in terms of developing innovative technology in different areas. And we are also understanding the change that is happening across the globe. I think that's this very interesting thing that we heard today about the global space economy and its potential growth. I think this has been well understood now. And we also see there is a possibility for India to grow to a significant share compared to what we have today. In fact, I really never understood the $424 billion US space economy, where exactly that is placed. I am still trying to find out from some of those consultants and how it's going to grow in which all sectors. I think this still not, I have not been able to understand that part. But then we realize that there is a significant possibility, significant growth in the space economy with respect to India's share is concerned. And it will definitely come from the unexplored markets that are being listed here. For those people who are going to enter into the space sector, there are many startups and many industries who are willing to invest in building rockets. I think those building rockets are happening in the small scale rockets, small rockets for launching 500 kilogram or less mass satellites, building small satellites, possibly bigger at a later point in time, developing applications for delivering solutions for corporates and governments, and also bringing technologies which are not been there so far. I think all these are happening, but the real economic growth will happen only if you look at certain aspects of this, which in my opinion, India has an edge. I think that edge is in terms of manufacturing and the ability to provide services through whatever capability that we have developed. These are the two areas we believe that we must concentrate. For example, if you look at the launch vehicle market, I think it is a very competitive market. It has also geopolitical connotations, and really creating a huge market for profitability could be difficult. Though there is a possibility to have small rockets, small launchers to launch them in large numbers, we expect that they will definitely be launched in large numbers, but won't come that easily. Because the constellation builders always want hundreds of satellites to be launched in one go, not two satellites to be launched using a small rocket. It's a huge challenge. But definitely there is possibility for small satellite launches, replacement launches, etc. Considering this market, we have also built a rocket called SSLV, which is now going to be transferred to industries to be produced in numbers and launched to meet those growing demands. And I'm hoping that by next year, we will have 2 more small satellites launchers to be built by the private sector to come to create a competitive edge on this small satellite launch business. Second, of course, is building small satellites and building constellations. I think this is increasing trend generally seen. And the ability to pack everything in small satellites and do some useful operational services using small satellite has been well demonstrated now, especially in the domain of Earth observation, IoT, debris monitoring, and scientific missions. Of course, in communication, still bigger. It's not very, very small, but they are still bigger. Satellites are there. But the trend of working with small satellites in large constellation, whether it is going to survive for a long time, whether disrupting technologies are going to emerge in this domain, transferring the entire technology to a bigger satellite constellation of lesser number is something I am waiting to see. Possibility exists. So we still realize that while we work on small satellites and small launchers, the need of having bigger rockets and heavy launch capabilities still exists, and it is something that we need to work on. This is one of the understanding that we have today, and we would like to do this as in partnership with industries and companies to build our future rocket. Though our LVM-3, which is already a heavy rocket, is in operation, but we would like to have our next generation rocket in another few years from now. And this is a focus that we want to work on. Of course, looking at bigger communication satellites, there is still potential for nations like India and many other hundreds of such nations which you don't think that there is, that the global constellations of large numbers which are emerging, whether it will serve those nations effectively for their specific communication requirements. And we still need to focus on bigger satellites which are geostationary based to serve those specific needs. So there is still potential for big satellites to be built and launched, but of course not in large numbers. But I see a change which is happening in satellite building and launching is the integration of various functionalities into single platforms. This is something that all of you need to address and then come out with solutions. There won't be a communication satellite, there won't be a Earth observation satellite, there will be another satellite for PNT services. I think all of this will slowly get merged into one satellite which will be able to do multifunctional capabilities. And this is something that will be more economical, beneficial to handle in terms of the outcome that can be expected out of investment. And this will be increased by the other technology growth, especially in terms of the intersatellite communication capability. and the global operational capability that such constellations provide in reconfiguring the use of satellite system itself with the changes in demand. So this is something very, very essential, and I am very sure that in no time a constellation just to provide PNT services like GPS satellites will vanish. Because we will find that there is no need for such a constellation, and some of the other constellations can simply replace this functionality without any additional investment. So even for communications sector, we are seeing need of change of satellites in short spans of time. Earlier, when we built heavy satellites, we were building it for 15 years of life, and we were trying to see the cost amortization over long periods of time and return of investment, etc., etc. Now, I don't think that it is going to be a possibility in the future, because the technology demand and the rate at which the data need to be handled will change within short periods of time, say 3 to 5 years of time. And so we'll have to build satellites just lasting 5 years. Or otherwise, we will have to reconfigure satellites in very short periods of time. So this is also a technology challenge, and we need to realize this aspect and then engineer spacecrafts according to the emerging needs of the market. The most important thing, of course, is not building satellites and launching them, but to put them to use by creating the required ground infrastructure and terminals and make it affordable for people to use. India especially is a country where we would like to give it, if you can give it free, it's going to be very good. I think you will be really building a huge business if you are giving it free. But then, of course, this free has to be there, but you need to find out a business model which will work along with these free services. So this becomes a challenge of any business sector here. But if you keep it at a higher cost, penetration will be extremely less. And we have to find out ways by which ground equipments, ground infrastructure, connectivity can be actually delivered to people in millions at extremely low cost. And through the scale, you will be able to make business. I think this is something very important. But the last point is about the markets. I think where are the markets for all of this? That we are trying to expand the launches, increase the number of satellites, increase capability, but where exactly you are going to serve? I think this becomes a major topic of discussion, creating those markets in India where, though the satellite penetration capability are limited to only small segment of the society even today. Of course, governments use it, some special users use it, but for public, how we can make it necessary for their day-to-day life? I think this becomes a very important topic. I think there is the real reason that we need to address how we connect all of this to the social and economic progress of every individual. And it has to become part of his life. Then only he will find it important to have connectivity to use it through satellites. Otherwise, he will be happy with other domains of connectivity and solutions that are available at lower cost. For example, agriculture, food collection and storage, distribution systems, medical and healthcare, survey records, climate and weather, disaster warning, his livelihoods, travel, everywhere we must find ways by which that satellite applications will find day-to-day use. I think this is something which we need to explore further. And through this, I am sure the growth in the sector can be guaranteed. But this is a work that needs to be done in the next few years. It's not only technology that we need to work on. We need to work on the grassroots to create those changes. I think the government is working on it, and all of us in the industry and policymakers must also find ways to find solutions for it. Finally, when we open this space sector, it opens a way for all of us to come together and discuss all of this. This is something really interesting. We were a closed society earlier. We were not collaborating. Of course, we are collaborating with agencies. Of course, our friends from NASA, we know us very much. We have been talking to each other over so many years. I think in India, we created the space sector capability with the collaborations only. We continue the collaboration as a very important element in the work of ISRO and the space sector in India. But we need to expand it further to a next layers of collaboration, especially with the supply chains collaboration, industries collaboration, technology developers collaboration, more than the agencies collaboration. I think this is something that we made it a point to discuss in the G20 Space Economy Leaders meeting recently held at Bangalore. We want to make sure the industries, technology developers do talk to each other and create products which are not reinventing the wheels. And there are solutions elsewhere available. How can we bring it together to create and bring solutions to the market at the fastest pace possible and at the lowest cost possible? India has great potential to do these things. I think we have been well marked for the capability to innovate and capability to produce results at very, very fast pace if you are given an opportunity. I think this is something that we are looking for at this time. Everybody is so eager to find the opportunities and possibilities in this sector, and very eager to collaborate with technology developers and product builders across the globe to create within India to have large production possible. We should also look at how markets can be created outside India as well. And whatever we are talking within India is also a limited market which will have certain gestation period to develop to its full scale. But we need to work with markets outside as well. Nations which have still yet to develop the space capability are the potential markets. And we need to create the interest in them, to create the utility of this in them, so that the companies and industries who are working here will have a possibility to go outside and then have their business opportunity. It's also equally important. And I'm very thankful today for SIA to organize this conference and to bring the thematic discussion limited to the economy of the space sector, specifically looking at the spacecrafts. Of course, there is so much. I think the last discussion is about going to moon and then creating a market for it. So they are not limiting within the communication segment alone. I think all of these sectors will definitely become topic of your discussions. And definitely this collaboration will help India to grow much bigger in the share of the space economy that we are all talking about. Thank you so much, and thank you all the very best for this conference, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for the insightful special address. And once again, best wishes for the Chandrayaan launch on the 14th of July. Ladies and gentlemen, our Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency Shri Bandaru Dattatraya is serving as the current Governor of the state of Haryana since 2021. He was also the 20th Governor of the Himachal Pradesh, was the Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment under the BJP government before becoming the Governor of the Hill State, and was the Member of Lok Sabha from Secunderabad from 2014 to 19. And ladies and gentlemen, I now have the proud privilege in inviting His Excellency for the inaugural address. Let's put our hands together to welcome His Excellency.
Indian Space Congress 2023. First of all, namaste to all of you. Shri Somanath, the Secretary, Department of Space and Chairman ISRO. Dr. Subba, Pavuluri, CMD, Ananth Technologies, and President SIA-India. Says Gunjan Dave, Member Technology, DCC Department of Telecommunications. Mr. Nathan de Ruiter, Managing Director, Euroconsult. Mr. Alex MacDonald, Chief Economist, NASA. And Shri Anil Prakash, Director General, SIA-India. Distinguished delegates, friends, and members of media. Today, as we gather at the India Space Congress 2023, I, as a Governor of Haryana, feel a profound sense of pride and privilege to address this esteemed congregation of visionaries, scientists, technologists, and industry leaders. This Congress stands as a testament to our nation's indomitable spirit of innovation and exploration. And I am humbled to witness the remarkable strides we have made in the field of space and satellite technology. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be happy to learn that in the last 9 years, India has witnessed a remarkable progress in its space journey under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. We are now at par with the countries like United States of America and leading space organizations like NASA are collaborating with ISRO. Today, I would like to acknowledge the incredible achievements of ISRO over the years. ISRO has been at forefront of India's space exploration endeavors, revolutionizing nation's capabilities in space, science and technology. One of the, here I have to mention, one Shri Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam ji, who helped India build India's first satellite launch vehicle and contributed to development of PSLV. This nation owes him a debt of gratitude. I express my humble tributes to Dr. Abdul Kalam ji. Friends, as I was mentioning, though satellites, ISRO has played a vital role in improving the communication, weather, forecasting, disaster management, and remote sensing capabilities. Satellites like INSAT and IRS are facilitated communication services, broadcasting and monitoring of natural resources, thus empowering India's socio-economic development. In 2017, ISRO achieved yet another remarkable feat by launching a record-breaking 104 satellites in a single mission using Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. ISRO has also demonstrated its launch vehicle capabilities with the development of the geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle, making India a sought-after destination for the satellite launches. Recent years, ISRO has focused on ambitious projects such as Gaganyaan mission, which aims to send Indian astronauts to space, and Chandrayaan-3 lunar exploration mission. This endeavor will mark India's entry into elite group of nations and capable of human spaceflight. These are the just few remarkable achievements of ISRO. Through its relentless pursuit of excellence, ISRO has not only pushed the boundaries of space exploration, but has also brought pride and inspiration to the nation. Now, doors have been opened for the participation of private sector as well. Today, ISRO is working with nearly 150 private startups. I came to know in 2014, In India, there was only one startup. Now, in this 9 years period, it has grown up to 140. It is very, very highly remarkable, and I congratulate all the investors or inventors of these startups. To boost the space research activities, space technology incubational centers have been established in some of the key locations of the country. In 2019, ISRO launched an annual special program called Young Scientist Program, aligned with the government vision of Jai Vignan, Jai Anusandhan. The program aims imparting the basic knowledge of space science and space applications to the young talents, and in the intent of encouraging them in fascinating domain of outer space. ISRO's Social Alpha have signed an MOU launched to Space Technology Innovation Network, India's first dedicated platform for innovation, curation, and venture development for expanding the space entrepreneur ecosystem. I am told that already I have mentioned and Haryana, about Haryana now I will tell some of the initiatives which we have taken. Haryana, the land of fertile plains, rich heritage and enterprising people, has embarked on an incredible journey of harnessing space technology for the greater good. Our commitment to utilizing the satellite technology for sustainable development has paved the way for groundbreaking applications that have positively impacted the lives of our citizens. At the forefront of our endeavors stands the Haryana Space Application Center, a beacon of innovation and progress. This center has been instrumental in providing specialized services and solutions that have transformed the way we manage, utilize our resources. Through the synergy of remote sensing, unmanned aerial vehicles, and geographic information system, Haryana has witnessed an unprecedented transformation in various sectors. One of the most critical areas where satellite technology has made a significant impact in the field of agriculture. As an agrarian state, Haryana state faces the challenge of ensuring the food security and optimizing the agriculture practices. Thanks to the satellite imagery and remote sensing data, we have achieved comprehensive crop inventory, facilitating better planning and resource allocation. Additionally, disease detection and precision agriculture technologies have led to increased crop yield and enhanced the productivity. Ladies and gentlemen, satellite technology has also played a crucial role in water resource management. Haryana is dependent on its rivers and groundwater for irrigation and drinking water purposes. The accurate assessment of surface water resources and monitoring of floods have allowed us to respond swiftly to water-related energies. Moreover, satellite data has been pivotal in identifying areas with groundwater depletion, guiding us in a flourishing sustainable groundwater management policies. Friends, our commitment to environment conservation has been bolstered by satellite-based forest monitoring and afforestation programs. The accurate mapping of forests has been enabled us to take targeted measures in preserving the precious biodiversity. Haryana rapid urbanization demands a well-planned infrastructure and satellite technology has been our ally in mapping and monitoring road network and urban development. Furthermore, Haryana Space Applications Center has led to the way in creation of GIS-based web applications that have streamlined governance and public service delivery. As we continue our quest for progress, we have understand importance of collaboration and knowledge exchange. Haryana Space Applications Center has been active participant in national and international research and development initiatives, forging partnership with the transcended geographical boundaries. By nurturing the talent of our scientists and technologists and providing them with a conducive environment, we are paving the way for cutting-edge innovations and groundbreaking discoveries. However, our journey is not limited to earthly confines. Haryana EdSet project exemplifies our commitment to inclusive and quality education. By leveraging satellite technology, we have bridged the gaps in education and brought quality learning resources to doorsteps of every student. This pioneering project has transformed the educational landscape, making it accessible to the students residing in the remotest areas, irrespective of their economic and social background. As we look to the future, the potential of space technology is boundless. We stand a cusp of transformative change, and Haryana is 50 committed to realizing this vision. We will continue to invest in research and development, foster innovation, and empower our youth to dream big and aim higher. We recognize that space exploration and satellite technology have the power to address some of the most pressing challenges faced by humanity, be it climate change or disaster management or sustainable development. Dear friends, I am confident that the India Space Congress 2023 will serve as a launchpad of collaboration, inspiration, and exchange of ideas. It is a platform for us to come together, share our expertise, and forge our partnership that will shape the future of space technology in our country. Let us seize this moment to imagine in future where space becomes an integral part of our daily lives, where satellite technology is harnessed to improve the governance, enhance the livelihoods, and center sustainable, inclusive society. In conclusion, I express my heartfelt gratitude to all the scientists and researchers and organizations who have propelled us to new frontiers in space technology. Here I have to mention our Pavuluri Subba, because who has brought me here. Really, I am happy to, proud also, that Ananth Technologies has helped the launch of 94 satellites and 74 launch vehicles in India. This contribution, the growth through the India space program is very, very helpful and very enormous. And I am seeing him. He has taken inspiration from Abdul Kalam. And humbly he started his company. Now it has become one of the good and best, one of the talented company in the country, and I am proud that Subba belongs to Hyderabad. And I express my gratitude to Subba also. And lastly, your unwavering dedication, passion, and relentless pursuit of knowledge have brought us to where we stand today. Together, let us explore the unknown, unlock the miseries of the universe, and utilize satellite technology to build a better, brighter future for all. May this Congress be resounding success. Thanking you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much indeed, Your Excellency, for the inaugural address. Thank you once again for gracing this occasion and inaugurating the India Space Congress 2023. I would now request His Excellency to kindly do the honors of releasing the report, Industrialization of India's Space Capabilities, Symposium and Roundtable. Ladies and gentlemen, this report is a joint initiative by NIAS and SIA-India. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's put our hands together on the release of the report, Industrialization of India's Space Capabilities, Symposium and Roundtable, a joint initiative by NIAS and SIA-India. Thank you, Your Excellency, for doing the honors. Thank you, all our eminent dignitaries, for the release of the report. And now may I request Dr. Subba to kindly do the honors of presenting a small token of gratitude, a memento to our eminent dignitaries. We present a memento to our Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency Shri Bandaru Dattatraya, Honorable Governor of Haryana. We present to our special guests of honor, Shri S. Somanath, Secretary DOS and Chairman ISRO. Thank you, sir. We present to Ms. Gunjan Dave, Member Technology, DCC, Department of Telecommunications. We present to our guest of honor, Mr. Alex MacDonald, Chief Economist, NASA. We also present to our guest of honor, Mr. Nathan de Ruiter, Managing Director, Euroconsult. Thank you, Dr. Subba, for kindly doing the honors, and may I now invite Shri Anil Prakash, Director General SIA-India, to kindly close the proceedings of the inaugural session by proposing the vote of thanks.
Indeed, it is a great honor for me to place a vote of thanks to the dignitaries. I'm really proud, and it's an honor for us to have Chief Guest Shri Bandaru Dattatraya, His Excellency Governor of Haryana. I am really thankful to Shri Somanath, Secretary DOS and Chairman ISRO. With his presence, I know it's a big task in his hand, and he has taken out the time to address us. I'm really thankful to Mr. Alex MacDonald, Chief Economist, NASA. Thank you very much. I'm really thankful to Madam Gunjan Dave, Member Technology, Digital Communication Commission, Department of Telecom. I'm really thankful to my friend Nathan de Ruiter, who's our knowledge partner for the second consecutive years. Thank you, Nathan, for your here. I'm really thankful to all the organizations which have lended extremely support to us, whether it is NSIL, ISRO, InSpace, Department of Telecom, Department of Post, Niti Aayog, and also Department of the Defense Production. Then we also have NIAS and RIS as our supporting partners. And apart from that, we have a galaxy of the partners who have come forward to help us to organize this. I'm really thankful to the audience and the delegates who have traveled from various destinations from abroad, and they have made it here. I'm really thankful to them. I'm very proud to say that we have a gathering of about 500 delegates from 30 nationalities. We have about 170 speakers, and we have about 35 sessions. It is a chock-a-block kind of a thing, and I think it will be very hard for you, I'm really, to choose which session you are going to be present, because physically you can be only one place, but you have to manage to run around. That's why we have to have the 4 tracks just after this running parallelly. I'm really thankful to the media person here, and thank you very much for your kind presence here. I'm very thankful to my team who has put a lot of hard work behind to making this event successful. And we are looking forward to all your support in future endeavor, as SIA-India is a voice of the space economy in India, and we are trying to build up a new space economy in terms of what is the building up an ecosystem in the country. So I think this will be a milestone in our making. We are just a young organization. We have just completed 2 years in operation, and this is a consecutive second year we are holding this India Space Congress. And I think we need your support, blessing, and guidance to make our endeavor further to more profitable for the space economy business, and also build up international collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for those words of thanks. And ladies and gentlemen, before we close the proceedings of the inaugural session, may I request everybody to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you. I would request everybody to kindly remain in their seats while His Excellency departs from the stage. We once again thank you, sir, for being here with us, for your words of wisdom and inspiration. We thank all our eminent dignitaries for sparing the time and being here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we will now break for a networking tea break. Post the tea break, the next sessions will begin at 12 o'clock sharp. We would request you to be seated back 10 minutes before that. The first track 1, which was on India Space Policy, a Watershed Moment, will be conducted in this very hall. Track 2, Satellites for Effective Disaster Risk Reduction, will be in RBR 1. Track 3, Satellite Mobile Convergence in RBR 2. And Track 4, Above the Karman Line Leveraging Microgravity, Track 4 will be in RBR 3. We would request you to kindly enjoy your cup of tea and coffee and be seated back in time in track 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the respective halls, whichever you wish to attend. Thank you very much indeed.